Thank you for joining another. Welcome back to another episode of Hoosier Nerds Podcast.
What
You
the
got
hell?
Chris with no brains working because I've talked to all of Jacksonville twice at this point, and you got the other Chris who's talked to all of Indiana at this point.
And I'm high on, paint thinner.
Oh yeah, because you had to be on at work when they're spilt paint thinner in the unit below you.
Good God.
Well, my topic I want to talk about. We gotta wait for Tim or at least Mikey to get here. I wish Tim was here. I'm gonna yell at him. Give me one moment. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I yelled at Mike or Tim. Mikey's
Did yell
okay.
at
He already
Tim.
told us he's gonna be late.
Yes.
But I have a topic I want to talk about because, and I know you can talk about at least the movie side of it. I mean, you might have some insights on the gaming side of it, but my main topic I want to talk about today is the lately it seems like only like the indie developers or the small game developers are the ones pushing the envelope right now. You get like and I'll get more into it once at least one more at least Tim or Mikey gets here. But you got like these small devs who are actually making good games compared to like the AAA. Like when you think of a big game developer, you think EA, Activision. They haven't really been doing much good lately. They're making the same copy paste games, but then you get like these little devs like I forget their name, but they made a game that's kind of like Pokemon. And it's blowing up right now. Give me one moment. I'll look up their name. I'm loading up on my Steam. They're called Pocket Pair. Pocket Pair is a little indie dev. They made their first game, and it sold like hotcakes. Like it's legitimately set records for how well it sold. But then you have a game that's been hyped for like 5 years now called Skull and Bones. It's a pirate game. It's considered the first quadruple. So AAA game is like think like hundreds of millions of dollars went into AAA games, and now games are getting to like GTA 6 has they've put over $1 billion into it. So
Oh
now
my
they're starting to get
God.
into the quadruple A games, is what they're calling themselves
Okay, so
now.
the new Pokemon ripoff game, if I buy it, how much is it?
Right now, it is $35.
Okay.
Scratch that. That's $35 for the game plus the soundtrack bundle. It's $30 for the game itself.
Okay.
If you want to buy a new AAA game like GTA, you're gonna be paying at least $70.
$70, right? That's double.
There's another game that just came out called Helldivers. It looks really good. It's made by, granted, it's produced by Sony. Sony's one of the Sony PlayStation is the producer, but the developer is called Arrowhead Games. Never heard of them. They made one game before this, and it was Helldive. Let me see what the games they've made. One moment. They made Helldivers 2 just came out. Okay, they've made some games. But they're still not like a big. They made a few games that have done really well, but they're not like huge games like the game that just came out. The Helldivers 2 is like amazing. But they made the first Helldivers and they made Magica. That game is really fun. Magica, if you want a fun co-op game, that game.
Hey,
Tim,
the masshole has
what's
entered
up?
this conversation.
Hello.
He must have had to go park his car.
Yeah, I'm driving right now.
Oh.
Don't drink and drive, or don't text and drive.
I'm podcasting, driving. There's nothing against the law.
Oh,
You know, he's got a point. There's no law saying you can't podcast and drive.
this is true. So that
Tec-
comes on
tec-
the books.
Technically, in Mass, though, it's against the law to talk on the phone and drive.
Is it really? Even if you've got like Bluetooth?
Only if you have Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're, it's supposed to be like two hands on the wheel, but I drive with my knee anyway. So
Who drives
with two hands
with
on
two
the wheel?
hands? Heck, they told us we're supposed to do that on the bus, and I drove the big 40-foot trolley with one hand half the time.
Yeah.
And the other hand, I was like, I had it on the side, like like propping my head up.
Yeah.
Just like, la 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 la, I'm driving a big, trolley with 50 people on it.
I'm driving
Anyways,
off.
Tim, we are talking about why, like, we just started it, but we're talking about, like, how small little indie devs are doing better than AAA and, like, big movie producers in, like, games and video games and movies.
Yeah. So. I mean, there are some good AAA games, but there are also some pretty banger indie games as well.
It just seems like all of a sudden it's like none of the AAA games are hitting. Like Skull and Bones is trash. Battlefield was trash. Granted, the new Call of Duty Zombies is good, but the last few Call of Duties have been pretty bad. That might also just be me being old and not liking Call of Duty. But
I mean, I have a lot of fun with zombies.
But that's one aspect of that game.
I mean, I'm sure I would whoop ass in PvP if I wanted to go play. I haven't played the campaign, but I do want to go play the campaign.
Anyways, I think it's crazy that, like, more often than not right now the smaller indie devs are hitting more than the AAA developers. And you said, like, the same thing, and it's the same thing for, like, movies. Speaking of horrible movies that the big producers are putting out, Madam Web. How about that crap ass Dead on Arrival movie?
I kind of feel bad for that movie.
I mean, I feel bad for the actors.
Is it really that bad? Can it
I
be?
have watched.
I remember how bad that Shazam was supposed to be in The Flash, and
I have watched people that I trust their movie sense. They liked, but they liked the movie. They liked The Flash. They liked Shazam, like we did. And they are saying this movie, you never see, other than in, like, a few scenes, they never actually suit up, and it's just dumb. Like, it doesn't sound like actors doing their lines. It just sounds like people reading off the script.
That's what I've read. I've heard that the acting is terrible in this. I have heard, Madam Web, and I love Dakota Johnson. She's like one of my favorite actresses.
Oh, it's only because you've seen her boobies a lot.
I think she's funny. Where are we at on? Let's see what it has made. Opening, it budgeted at 80 million, right? Opening weekend in U.S. and Canada was 15 mil. It grossed 26 mil in the U.S. and Canada. Gross worldwide 51.8 mil. It won't make its budget back.
No.
Not even close.
And it's funny because you look at the writers and it's like, why do they keep getting more roles? The same guys that wrote this movie, Madam Web, did what was it? They showed the list. They did Morbius, Dracula Untold, which I actually didn't think was a half bad movie. What was that? A Vin Diesel movie. Hold on, I gotta look it up.
Triple X?
No. It was The Last Witch Hunter, which was not a good movie, but it wasn't a bad movie. But they're like one of those people that just keep making bad movies, and it's like, why do they keep still getting jobs?
Well, I mean, it's just the whole. I don't know. I mean, I just looked up the Marvels, right? Because it's a Marvel movie. I know it's not the same studio.
Yeah.
But it was budgeted at 220 and it only made 206 worldwide. So that's like 2 in a row for Marvel.
Is it because the AAA devs are in the big movie studios are out of touch with what people want?
I think so. I think they're really out of touch with what people want.
Well, it's because the big studios are the ones that are always pushing agendas that nobody fucking gives a shit about.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have basic, just average movies that that you've seen that you can go see. Just a basic movie that's not tied with anything, nothing.
Well, like
I
you also figure that like all the big movies out right now are all Disney movies, and they all have to follow into the Marvel universe. So I mean, or Star Wars, or
everything has to be connected. I can't watch a 2-hour movie and it not be connected.
there's only really one big movie studio I can really think of, and it's Disney. I mean, I guess like Universal.
Yeah, but Disney owns like half of the studios anymore.
I mean, let's look at this. Okay, so I'm just going through the movies I've seen previously, right? So this goes to last year. So in the last year that I've been to the movies at the theater, Cocaine Bear, spectacular, right? Everything else is literally almost like a sequel of some sort. Because I saw Scream 6, Shazam, Guardians 3. I did see The Flash. Indiana Jones, Equalizer 3. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, how many, what is it, half? That's out of, I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I saw 13 movies in 2023. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them were sequels or part of a greater universe. So,
Which I don't think there's anything wrong with. It just needs to be able to stand up by itself.
I don't. The main issue I'm having is I don't want to have to watch 15 other movies. I know we say this every time we get into this topic. I don't want to have to watch 15 other movies to know what's going on.
Like, this is not the best example because it's not the best movie, but Iron Man 2 was its own movie. Yeah, it followed Iron Man 1, but you could watch Iron Man 2 without watching Iron Man 1.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's totally true.
There's like maybe like a few things here and there that like would help if you knew it from the first one, but it's not a necessity. Whereas if I go watch Loki or something like that, I'm gonna be like especially because it's like Loki season 1 and 2 happened before this movie, and then season 3 happens after this movie. So then in season 3, they're mentioning stuff about like a movie that you didn't see.
The one thing good about Loki, at least, is you don't need to have watched anything past Endgame.
I was just picking like a random thing, but I mean in general, like one.
I mean, here's a problem too. So I'm looking at our theater, right? How many screens does our theater have?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
12?
I think 12, yeah. Mikey would be the better one, but he's having issues right now.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Mikey worked there, so we can ask him when he gets.
Okay, so they've got 11 movies playing tomorrow, right? And I mean, honestly, there's nothing out. You've got Madam Web, Bob Marley, which I heard that movie sucked. Argyle, The Chosen, season 4, that's a special event. The Beekeeper, which is just Jason Statham as Jason Statham in any other movie. The Mean Girls reboot, Lisa Frankenstein, Migration, Wonka. Then they have 2 $5 faves from past years, Turning Red and Past Lives. So, like maybe it's like, are they not wanting to put out smaller budgeted movies anymore?
Well, they're not getting they have to pay, AMC or whatever company to get into the theater. So maybe these smaller budgeted movies don't have the money. Look at Godzilla -1. It couldn't go wide until it made it big. It was a limited release, and then it got really popular because of TikTok and whatever else. And then they re-released it on a wide release, and it made its money fast. It had already made its money in a limited release.
We're re-releasing Raiders of the Lost Ark, where we replaced all the British guns with walkie-talkies.
I just want to see, like I saw the Iron Claw was the last movie I've seen, but that was in January. Just give me dumb characters for a fun movie. You know what I mean? for all the shitty movies that came out in the 70s, there were a lot of good one-offs. Well, some made sequels, they weren't that good, but still. You had a lot of good movies. And of different variety. I mean, between drama, comedy. Yeah, they made some sequels, I suppose, but the initial movies were the best of all of them. So, I don't know. I think the movie industry's out of touch with the consumer. I think everything is out of touch with the consumer.
Well, look at what was it, Sound of Freedom, that one about the trafficking or whatever. That movie blew up, and that's not, that wasn't Hollywood. That was a smaller production company.
Right. I mean, who's the next little guy, independent, that's going to blow up? I mean, you had Spielberg with, American Graffiti. No, that was George Lucas. Spielberg was Jaws. But Kevin Smith did Clerks. Quentin Tarantino. You know what I mean? They made these little bitty movies for next to nothing. Is it, what is it? The Key and Peele guy with the scary movies that are all the same?
And Key and Peele, you mean, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
And they keep pimping how you can, make movie quality movies with the iPhone and stuff. Maybe some of these big companies should start filming with iPhones instead of their big expensive cameras.
That's true.
Good way. I mean, if it makes movie quality movies, like it says. I mean, if you really want to see how like the mainstream is out of touch with like the audience, just look at like a critic score versus an audience score, and they're always opposite.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I never trust the critics.
Clearly not.
Are video game companies, are they out of touch with the consumer?
I feel like there's like a lot more games that come out than movies though, so it's like an unfair.
Okay, I was just curious.
Here's what I'll say:
tons and tons of games, especially like with Game Pass and just random indie games that come out. Sometimes indie games just smash, but I mean, a lot of these games that smash, I mean, they smash for like a month or two, and then all of a sudden you stop hearing about it because everybody's.
Well, that's all they need to do because they made their money too.
Yeah. Well, like I think Pal World will be around for a while and stuff like that, but it's only a matter of time before the numbers start dipping down and everybody starts saying the same thing that they always say every game that they play too long. Like, oh, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, and then they move to a different game.
So yeah, but who's the next Fortnite where the game is free, but you pay a shitload of money for everything to play it?
Helldivers, probably.
Helldivers is $30.
That's still nothing compared to video games.
Oh yeah, that's $30 compared to like a $70 AAA game.
Pal World is free though.
No, it's not. Pal World's not free. It's $30.
Yeah. Maybe you should have Game Pass.
Well, does almost every game that come out now, does it have to be tied in to where you can play online, or can you just put it in and play it?
Most games now require online play in some way. And it's kind of stupid. There's a lot of single player games that require you to be online, but you don't need to do anything online.
Payday just
like Red Dead.
A big problem with Payday was that with the new Payday was that you had to be online even to play your single player like by yourself, and that was one of the things that destroyed Payday 3 when it came out because their servers were dog shit. So nobody could play. It was like, oh, okay, I can't play with my friends. At least I can play by myself. Nope, can't play by yourself either. So they finally just released a single player, you don't have to be connected to online feature, which is kind of nice.
EA learned that the hard way with SimCity, because SimCity had to be online to play, even though SimCity is a single player game.
But don't you have to sign in online to play your games? Like, on my Xbox, don't I have to sign in?
No,
it's saved on your Xbox.
It's saved on your Xbox.
I can play any of my games without logging into my gamer tag
Okay.
if I wanted to.
Yeah, if it's on your computer, on your Xbox, on your Switch, you should most games be able to load it just as soon as you
Right.
download it.
But
Load
can
it,
you
load it, and
save
play
it?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you could save your game.
You can save it too. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it saves to the because like
Saves to the hard drive.
the way a lot of stuff works now is it saves to like the cloud and it saves to the console. So like if I go in and look at my Baldur's Gate 3 file, like the game file or whatever, it's gonna show like 140 gigabytes for the game, and then it'll be like 0.5 gigabytes for like this file, 0.5 gigabytes for this file.
yeah. A lot of games will let you. I download it on this Xbox, but I get a new Xbox. Well, there's all my save files.
I mean, like
It,
I was playing. It's not the same because it's like online, but I was just playing Destiny on my laptop last night, just for fun, just to play around on my laptop. So I was PC gaming.
I'm just curious. I was curious about that, but I don't know. Your movies are hard to. It's like they want to put so much into them, and I'm just like, just give me a basic story. Sometimes, that's all I want. Just something I can enjoy and go home and go about my day, and make it like an hour and 40 minutes at the most. I don't need a 2 hour and 35-minute epic.
One of my favorite movies is still like 4 hours long, and it's not The Godfather.
It's a Godfather.
It's
Godfather
Dinotopia.
Part 2.
Dinotopia.
Oh,
I
there's
mean, one of my
plenty.
favorite movies is
Oh,
also
that's
4 hours
like-
long. It's the Snyder
I-
Cut of Justice League.
I think Dinotopia was like a 3 or 4 part like special that I just happened to have on like a 4 hour VHS.
Oh, there you go.
Well, what was it? Um. Oh. Ben-Hur, wasn't the original Ben-Hur like 4.5 hours long?
I've only seen I've only known one Ben-Hur. I didn't know there was an edited version of Ben-Hur.
They made a new one. They made a
Oh, the shitty one, the remake.
Yeah. Hey, the one good thing about the remake, and I sent this to you a month or so ago, Chris. It has one of the only few surviving marching songs for the Romans, and they do it when they're marching into Jerusalem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ben-Hur was 3 hours and 32 minutes. The original.
I remember when my dad finally said I'm old. When my dad was like, "Okay, you're old enough to watch this," and I finally watched
You
it.
were like, sorry, Dad, I already watched it.
No, it was
Ben-Hur?
it was like old enough to understand what was happening. It was like a 2 or 3 VHS rental from Family Video.
Of the original Ben-Hur?
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3. It was like 2 or 3 VHSs. Because I remember it was like the movie. It has like a little pause to give you time to get the other VHS and put it in.
Yeah, I remember switching out the VHS tape.
There's a group of people right now like, what the hell is a VHS? What are they talking about?
A lot of
Hey.
people, a lot of them, all the epics came on double cassettes. Godfather 2, Titanic was a double cassette.
I remember Titanic was a double cassette too.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Mikey, how many theaters or how many theater or rooms does the theater have? Screens.
12?
12? Okay. You're right, Chris.
12. I think it's 12, right? Because I think it's like 1 through 6 and 7 through 12, right? On both
Yeah.
sides.
I couldn't remember. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember how many it was, so
12
Yeah,
screens.
12, yeah.
Did you see? I've questioned this now. So because you always talk about the Super Bowl and how NFL's fixed and all that stuff, right?
it is fixed.
The
We discussed that
NFL
last time.
is classified as sports entertainment. Did you know this?
Yeah, and they don't pay taxes.
But no.
Federal
I think what Chris is trying to say is that the WWE is also
Sports
Sports
entertainment, yes.
Isn't basketball sports entertainment then?
I'm not really sure how
The
they.
NFL is classified as entertainment, not a sport.
So it was always a simulation. I'm picturing the meme with the two astronauts in space, one holding a gun to the other.
So I'm just throwing that out there that the NFL is designated as sports entertainment, not sports. So just take that information and however you want to digest it for yourself.
I'm just asking questions here.
Just saying.
I'm just asking questions.
Why is it listed as entertainment and not a sport?
I don't know. Call up the NFL offices in New York and figure that out for us, Chris.
Oh, they're gonna lie to me.
You wouldn't get 10 seconds. They're like, yeah. What's your location? We're curious to know where.
Yeah, what's your
where you are.
location?
It'd be like that
Take a
episode
peek
of
at that.
Futurama where Bender calls in, he has an issue, and
Yeah.
Mom sends missiles after him.
He's like, stay right there, dearie. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, why is the NFL labeled as sports entertainment? Knock,
But-
knock, 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 knock.
They're like, can you actually move one step to your left?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Just to ignore the red dot on your chest. The red laser dot. I'm just throwing that out there. I thought that was kind of fishy that it's labeled as sports entertainment.
Does the NFL also hate Smurfs?
Do they hate Smurfs? Who would
I'm
hate
just
Smurfs?
asking questions.
I used to watch the Smurfs when I was a kid, but then they got annoying. They were so darn happy all the time. God almighty.
You see what Smurf was wearing yesterday?
After a while, you
Yes,
start.
Smurf-
After a while, you start
Smurftastic.
cheering for that guy in the castle.
Oh,
When you're young, you want to grow up to be SpongeBob, but growing up is realizing that you're Squidward.
That's right.
Gosh.
What's that guy's name?
Squidward?
No, the bad guy.
that's what I'm trying to think of right now.
Mr. Krabs?
No, the Smurf.
Now in the Smurfs.
Are you feeling it,
Is
Mr. Krabs?
Is it Doctor something or no?
No, Gargamel.
Gargamel.
After a while, when you start rooting for Gargamel, I'm just saying. Sometimes you got to start rooting for Gargamel. It's like when you start rooting for the Empire. You know what I mean?
Hey, the
Yeah.
Empire just wanted to bring peace to the galaxy, and
I
there's
started-
lawlessness under the
Empire.
Republic.
I started rooting for the Empire as soon as I saw Ray. I said, "All right, go Empire."
I mean, the best of them all is the one where the bad guys win. You just begin to understand why.
Lucky for everybody in my Baldur's Gate file, I'm a good guy right now. But when I come back as a bad guy, woo, baby, ain't nobody safe from these hands.
I've been a bad guy this last playthrough in Baldur's Gate. I've been throwing people off of cliffs and electrocuting people, and
You can't throw people. That's like my least favorite thing to do because then you lose loot.
Well, like
yeah,
lately,
but it's fun yeeting
when
them
I
off
play
cliffs.
when I play Red Dead 2, I'll like hold people up and shoot them on the road just randomly, just because I can, and then I'll go pay the bounty, and then everything's cool.
Wow, it's like video games make us violent or something.
That's it. That's what it is. Yes, video games has caused me to be mean and violent. It has nothing to do with real life.
What made you guys turn to evil? Like, oh well, we were watching Terrence and Phillip, and
Oh, speaking of which, I watched what some consider the greatest movie of all time the other night. Actually, I watched it last week. It is considered the greatest movie in cinema history. and I have to disagree.
Uh,
I watched Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane is considered the greatest movie of all time.
I
Is
would
it
say
considered-
one of, if not.
Is it considered the greatest movie of all time?
It
By
is.
the same-
It's by the list. It is always at the top of the list.
Is this list made by the same people who also give movies a wicked high critic score and the audience scores?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same list everywhere you go.
just saying. I'm
it's
just
always
throwing
like-
it out there.
It's always like Citizen Kane, Godfather, Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz. It's always it's always those people. So
Like, Wizard of Oz is a good movie, but it wouldn't even make it
it's
in
got
my.
a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's an enjoyable movie, but come on.
Citizen Kane's on 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't.
It's at
think
least
it's-
more enjoyable to watch than
I mean, I'll watch old movies. I'm more of a Humphrey Bogart guy myself. I would much rather watch Maltese Falcon or what is it?
Falcon movies.
Maltese Falcon. I'd rather watch it or what's the other one? Here's looking at you, kid. That guy. I'd rather watch those than watch Citizen Kane. I thought it was kind of boring. It was kind of silly.
What is Citizen Kane even about? I've never seen it. I've never had the tribe to watch it.
Named Kane.
He's a newspaper magnate and he dies.
It's the origin
And
story
his
of
dying words were Rosebud. And then after you figure it all out, Rosebud was the name of his stupid sled when he was a kid. It's just not good.
Is that all it's about?
I mean, basically, they try to figure out why he said Rosebud.
When did this movie come out?
1941.
Let's not lie to ourselves.
Huh?
Movies that old. Let's not lie to. I'm talking to the critics, the people who get paid to say stuff like this. Nobody cares. Nobody actually cares about that movie anymore.
Well,
You could.
some people do. It's like there's movie historians that just consider it.
About the Godfather. Just saying.
I mean, I would rather watch Casablanca. Like I said, I would rather watch Casablanca or the Maltese Falcon. Casablanca came out in 42. Maltese Falcon came out in 41. Maltese Falcon's really good. So it's not that the era has crappy movies. Ooh, African Queen's good too. That came out in 51. But it's just they're just I don't know why that's considered the greatest movie of all time. I really don't. So I mean, I watched it. I tried to watch it. You know me, I can watch anything, right?
Oh, I know you can.
I got a knot buster for that, and it's not Citizen Kane.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, positive.
I was gonna ask Mike.
British
Mikey,
Film Institute Sight and Sound Decennial Poll of Critics says Citizen Kane is the greatest movie of all time. There you go.
85.
AFI 100 Years has it as number one.
Yes.
Casablanca number 2, Godfather 3, Gone with the Wind 4, Lawrence of
those
Arabia.
are like the
Versus-
usual top 5 suspects right there. Anyways,
Yeah, Godfather 2 is better than Godfather.
excuse me, I'm yawning. I've been yawning since 3 o'clock. I don't know. I just the usual like top 3-5 suspects of top movies. Sorry, my brain's just not working. I never agree with them.
Yeah, where's Dumb and Dumber? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, Dumb and Dumber. I don't know, just something that entertains me. I'm not there for the art of it.
Like, you
I-
ever notice how there's never comedies never make like that, like best movie lists or whatever?
I don't think so. Like I watched the other day. I watched the.
Because you
I
could
watched
watch.
the to-do. Have you ever seen the to-do list?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
with Aubrey Plaza. That's a funny movie. Came out in 2013. She's this nerdy kid from high school, and she makes this list of stuff to do before she goes to college so she can have sexual experience. So she makes this, she's got like dry humping, hand jobs, hickeys,
Best.
all this stuff. That is a funny movie. That
What
movie's
is it?
11 years
Porky's?
old.
I feel like most people would be more likely to watch a funny movie twice than a serious movie twice. As much as I love like something like 300 or whatever, I've seen, it's not a fair comparison, but I've seen Wedding Crashers, 50 more times than I've seen 300. It's not saying 300 is a bad movie by any
Right.
stretch of the imagination. It's a fantastic movie. It's just I enjoy, like, when you're watching like a comedy, it almost feels like you're part of it because you're laughing and stuff, as opposed to in a serious movie, you're just like kind of watching like events unfold, as opposed to like, like a funny.
The first real comedy that shows up on the AFI Top 100 comes in in 26 as Doctor Strangelove.
I mean, I guess it's higher than I thought it would be.
I mean,
But
yeah,
but
but
that's
still.
the only thing I see in the top
I
50.
I 100% agree with you, Tim. I'm more likely to watch a comedy over and over and over than I am some
So by that, like,
serious movie.
by that metric, why are more comedy movies not higher on the list by critics? If people would,
Because they're not artsy fartsy.
yeah, I was gonna say because they don't hold all of like the message. It's like, oh well, this movie was a
Holy-
fantastic movie because it was a movie about like gay rights. So like, well, was it a good movie?
This
Well,
list is
it's just
trash.
a movie because it's about like this hot topic or something like that.
Listen, the bottom in the bottom like 10, 94 is Goodfellas, 95 is Pulp Fiction, 96 is The Searchers, and 98 is Unforgiven. I would put them way higher than where
I
they're
was gonna say Pulp Fiction. Like, I haven't seen Pulp Fiction like that many times, but it's definitely higher than 95.
Yeah.
I would put Pulp Fiction in easy top 20 in my book.
Oh, Goodfellas, I would put in top 20
So it's good too.
because it's the perfect mob. It's the perfect mob movie. It shows everything about what the mob was really like back in the day.
Did Goodfellas come out after Godfather?
Yeah, Goodfellas came out in 1990. Godfather came out in 72.
Jesus Christ.
So this thing's all messed up. But yeah, that's the only one. I mean, I don't know if they got Singing in the Rain at 10, but that's a musical. It's a Wonderful
I'm
Life.
singing in the rain.
How is It's a Wonderful Life at 11?
They have Wizard of Oz at like 4, and that's a musical. So
Schindler's List is at 9. I would probably put that top 5. They've got Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Godfather, Gone with the Wind, and Lawrence of Arabia.
I can agree with Gone with the Wind. It is a great movie.
I agree with that. I can see Gone with the Wind. I can see Casablanca and The Godfather. Maybe The Wizard of Oz.
I wonder how much my parents have a still in its wrapper VHS version of Gone with the Wind, still in the plastic wrapping. I wonder how much that would be.
Well, it depends on when it came out. Like when that one came out.
Which copy it was.
Right.
I have to look.
I think they got The Graduate at 7. The Graduate's not that good of a movie. It really isn't. But you know what is a really good movie y'all should check out? I checked this bad boy out the other day. Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity.
You talked
That's
about
the
this
one you should
before.
Holy crap.
Did I watch this without pants?
This 1987 masterpiece is about two slaves in a distant galaxy escape prison and crash land on a strange planet. They meet Zed, whose hospitality attempts to hide the fact that they are being hunted for sport.
Planet Labia.
It's got laser beams, it's got robots, it's got topless girls. Like I don't know. I don't know how they got people. Like, obviously it's the 80s, but like the 90% of the time these girls are walking around in like bikinis. Like loincloth bikinis. The special effects are cheesy and horrible. The acting's mediocre, but I would watch this movie again, honestly, because Zed is an a-hole and he wants to hunt the girls for sport. And let me just give you some quality writing, right? Let's see here if I can find it. I know I did it. Please tell me I did it. Maybe I did it. I know I did. Hang on. It's in my notes. I thought I did. Oh, no, I didn't save them. I can look them up. There is quality writing, such as you got to watch this movie. I mean, these people have been in other movies before. Somebody named Elizabeth Catane and Cindy Beale, and they have quality quotes, as in something tells me there's more in this jungle than meets the eye. It's like they ran around Gilligan's Island, is what it looked like. That's honestly what it looked like. If life wasn't so cruel, everything would be beautiful. How about that? That's deep and profound.
Yeah.
Halo? Anybody? Halo?
And then you have one more. There's one more.
I was gonna bring up Halo when he was done with his Knotbuster.
Oh, where's it at? You got to check this movie out. It's on Freevee and Tubi, and it's all free. God bless Freevee for putting these horrible movies from the 80s on, because honestly, I would rather watch these than 90% of the crap they put out in the movies. I'm just saying.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Halo?
Got it.
Are all three of us watching it? Halo.
I only watched the first episode so far.
Mikey, get your fucking head out of your ass. Let's go.
Bitch.
He got
I mean,
you.
I will say that the first episode is probably the best episode, but
Yeah, so far the first episode was the best episode. But like you said in the group chat,
this
Tim,
next episode's called Reach, so shit's about to get real.
well, let's be honest. When they said the name of that one place where they went and got captured, well, not captured, but they're on Reach, I was like, oh my god, that's where the game started. Halo Reach, that was the first mission.
But does it have lines like "Hurry back"? If you two get yourselves killed out there, you'll have me to answer to. Does that happen in Halo?
Just wait for Keys to say his signature lines. That'll be fantastic.
What line?
Just any of his lines.
Yeah.
If you two get yourselves killed out there, you'll have me to answer to. Just like the guy, like the head Halo guy, does he tell his guys, "All right, good luck out there, man. Be careful.
No,
if you two get yourselves killed, you'll have me to answer to." No.
Spartans never die.
What about?
I think I finally got past the point with the show where I am comparing it to the game and the books.
It's still gonna like follow the
story a little.
Somewhat of the story. Like, I have to assume that at some point in this, like, I think the last episode of this season is called Halo. Yeah, hold on, I have the list. Sanctuary, Sword, Visegrad, Reach, Aleria, Onyx, Thermopylae, and Halo. So you have to assume Halo is going to involve the Halo. The way it happens in the game is Master Chief is inside that, container at the beginning of Halo 1 on the Pillar of Autumn, and it's
the cryo.
It's escaping Reach, and then they end up crashing on the Halo ring.
Yep.
So I have to assume that even if Master Chief isn't in stasis, he's still going to be on the Pillar of Autumn.
And we're going to get Captain Keyes instead of Admiral Keyes.
Yeah, and the 7th episode's called Thermopylae. I mean, I'm sure you're, Chris, as a history buff.
300 Thermopylae?
Was the Battle of the 300. So
I
That's
wonder if
what-
we get all the Spartans fighting like the elites and
Yo,
shit.
they better mention Noble Six. I'm just saying they don't have to
Dude.
show them. They don't have to show them. But I would love to just get like a little, like, yeah, we have a team, out there, doing the best that they can, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and Master Chief being like, what team, like, who could it be, and then being like, letting you know it's
Well,
Noble Six.
I want them to show like at least after we're like when if Reach gets glassed, which I'm going to assume it gets glassed, I want them to be like just mention that Noble Six is like last standing on that planet, and just him ripping apart thousands of Covenant.
Like if you Google Alaria, which is the 5th episode name, it's a planet in one of the Halo systems. So that's like probably gonna be.
So is Onyx. Onyx is the name of a book, but it's
Onyx, the
also
band Onyx Slam.
yes,
Well,
it's name of one of the books, but it's also a planet where I think Onyx is where the Spartan 3s were developed. It's either the Spartan 3s or the Spartan 4s were developed on Onyx.
That's what I think Alaria is. I'm pretty sure Alaria is going to be like the base of operations for. I think Alaria is going to be where the UNSC, whatever it's called, I can't think of the name of it. That's where they're going to go. Is going to be like the new home base is going to be Alaria, and then they'll probably build the Spartan 3s.
Mhm.
And however, the only thing I'm curious about is, obviously, when Halo starts, Master Chief is separated from everybody. So unless they bring his squad with him, which I'm not sure if they're gonna bring I
The
feel like
one girl, the blonde girl, will probably come because she's basically Linda from the books.
yes,
They all survive. His squad survives.
no, I know they survive. I'm just because his squad is technically the one from Halo 5.
That's Blue Team.
That's Blue Team, but Blue Team is the equivalent of Silver Team, which is his team.
Yeah, which I don't know why they changed it, but you know what? Whatever.
Or not Silver Team, because Silver Team is Silver Team, but so like I know his team lives because they're with him 5 games down the line, but up until that point, Master Chief, it's just Chief and Cortana. So are the episodes going to be like how they're split right now between like Chief and like on Reach and stuff like that, and then they have like the colony with like the what's her face, like the girl and like the slave colony and shit. Are they going to have that same kind of split with Chief by himself and then the people on Reach, or are people going to show up with Master Chief? Is he not going to be by himself? I think that'd be. I mean, I want to see him just whoop ass by himself, which he already has been whooping ass in the first episode. So
I mean, he soloed like 10 elites by himself.
I still think he could have taken all those elites that showed
Oh,
up.
I
At the
think
end.
he could have too. That would have been an easy clap.
He didn't have a gun, but
Well, they got guns. That's all he needs.
it didn't really matter. He didn't have a gun before, and I like how you can really see what weapon each person is using. Like
Yeah.
Chief is the assault rifle, like the main assault rifle, and then Kai has a sniper,
Sniper.
and then the big guy has a shotgun, and I'm assuming
Didn't he have like heavy weapons, like shotgun and like a machine gun?
and then the other girl, Riz, has a battle rifle.
I like how they're showing more of the human side of them too. Like I know in the games they don't really get into that except in an Infinite. Infinite kind of showed Chief as a human side. But what'd you say?
I still need to play Infinite, the story. That's where I left off.
I don't like Infinite because you have to read all the lore, like all the data drops to know what happened. Because I feel like there's a gap between Halo 5 and Infinite. Where there's
in Halo 5, like the legendary ending is Chief meeting up with Halsey and the Arbiter, and them getting ready
Halsey, the singer Halsey.
for Cortana, because Cortana ran away
Yeah,
into
but
like
then all of a sudden, the UNSC Infinite destroyed and everything. It's like, and then all of a sudden there's Atriox. They don't explain how any of that happened. Like, how did Halo Wars 2 and Halo combine? That's always been my question.
Oh, it ain't no different than when they take a book and change everything in it to make a movie out of it. It's the same thing. Couldn't you say the same thing about Game of Thrones?
Yes, but the games have always had a pretty concurrent story where you don't need to. That's my problem with Bungie and Division and Destiny. You had to read to get any lore. You had to read all of the extra
right
data
now.
drops.
Shut your mouth. Talk shit about Destiny. I'll whoop your ass.
I don't know.
You have to admit it's dumb that you have to read every. If I want this, if this lore is so important, they should give it to me in the game, not make me read.
Yeah, but
Not make me
if-
read a research paper, 10 research papers to figure out, what's the driving force behind these people.
you can just read the lore books that are in the game. They give them to you.
Yeah, but I ain't got no time to read. I got to kill shit.
So the only other alternative to that
Nobody reads the book. That's like
is
this.
to bog you down with like cutscenes and like exposition when you go and like talk to people. Would you if you can't be bothered to read the lore books in the game that they put there, you really think you're going to be happy sitting there for 7 minutes?
I just want to
I
play
would
the
be more
game. I
happy
don't want to
than
have to
they're
read
reading.
before I play the game. I agree.
not-
I don't want to have to read about I don't want to have to read about why the Infinity is blown up. That should be explained. That ship was important in the last 2 games. That should be explained to me in the game.
It's different. Halo doesn't have like lore books though. Destiny does.
You don't need lore books. All you need is like a crawl, like at the beginning of Star Wars. It tells you everything you need to sum up. That's all it is. Sum it up.
Yeah,
But the lore
Chief-
of Destiny is like and Halo are far crazier than than Star Wars.
That's not that.
No. You only need to know like the most basic part, like when when Episode 1 Phantom Menace rolled around, they didn't need to tell you everything that happened in the first 3 in 4, 5, and 6.
Well, no.
And they didn't do the entirety of like the show, the 3 movies in a crawl. They only tell you what is absolutely necessary. Whereas
how it should
Yeah.
be for a video game.
and Halo should tell me why the most important ship, the thing that we've been defending in Halo 4 and 5, is blown up. Not, show a beginning cutscene where Atriox is running rampant on the ship, throwing Chief out of a hangar into deep space.
who's defending the Infinite? At no point in 4 or 5 are you defending the Infinite.
In
Okay, so
Halo
I got a
4,
question.
the
I got a
whole
question.
thing is
Whoa, whoa,
the
whoa,
Infinite
hold on,
got
hold on.
EMP'd.
I have a question. Do you think that video game companies, and as they turn them into movies or TV shows, do you think that they are adding so much of a story to it that you just can't follow it? They're just not putting basic games out anymore.
I mean, there's not enough movies that are game or shows that were games. So Halo's-
The
But there's plenty
the
of movies that
recent
are video.
history of movies that were games is not good because most games that got turned into movies or shows suck. Let's
Except
be
for
honest.
Mario Brothers. That was good.
Mario was good. The recent Mario was good. The Mario Brothers sucked. Resident Evil.
I was gonna say Resident Evil was really good.
The first, but those Resident Evils had
playing it.
nothing to do with the games.
There's a difference between playing it and if they started the Halo TV show as just Chief on that, like literally from like the start of the first Halo game and just ran through, I really don't know how long they'd last because you would just, first of all, it'd be first person the whole time. And
So you shouldn't even be. They shouldn't even have TV shows that were video games.
I feel like you have to find like a happy middle because like again, like if you just were barreling straight through the story of Halo, there's no like love like aspect to like the to the games. Like you don't need it because you're playing like the games or whatever. But in like a TV show or a movie, if you don't have that like romantic interest between any characters, it doesn't matter like which characters it is, just anybody, then you're missing like a piece of like story that will obviously keep people like entertained. I feel like there's a difference between watching something and playing something. You don't need as much when you play something, whereas when you watch something, you need like a little bit more to fluff everything up.
Well, I suppose. But like, okay, it's like I'm playing Red Dead all the time, right? And that is a great story. So whoever writes this stuff, are these like guys that are just like disgruntled movie writers that can't get their stuff off the ground, so they go and write video games? Because there's some great video game stories out there. They just don't translate to the big screen for some reason. Or the
because
small
you're not
screen.
playing them. There's a different, like Tim said, there's a difference between playing them and watching them.
But
Playing
I
them,
could
you're
totally
invested in
watch.
the story.
I could totally watch a movie about Red Dead. The whole idea, but I don't need
There's so many
almost
side
like Tomb Raider. Like Tomb Raider would have been good. I just thought that they made Laura Croft rely on other people too much in the movies that she didn't in the video game. She's very independent in the video game. You know what I mean? So I could see it. I could see a Red Dead movie with Arthur and the gang and
you would
trying to,
have you would have to do a TV show. There's no way you'd be able to
I
fit.
could do that. That would be great.
Yeah.
As long as it's done properly, as long as I don't have to play it, they don't have to do the story like I did. But the basic storyline, the robbing the bank, the breaking somebody out of jail, the blowing up of the boat and ended up on the island. You know what I mean? They could do all that. The breaking out of prison.
Spoilers, Chris. No,
Huh?
I said spoilers. No.
I could see that, but
I think for any game,
or it's because you guys are nerds. You expect so much of the TV show / movie to be
it's
like the game that nothing's going to satisfy.
you got to think of it this way. I've been
I
playing
really like
Halo since like when did the first Halo Combat Evolved come out?
2000.
Like 2000. I've
2000.
been playing this. I've been playing this game since the early 2000s. Whenever Halo 1 came out, 2000, 2001, whatever. It is one of my most beloved series. I hold it to a very high standard. It's like Star Wars. I hold Star Wars to a very high standard.
I still think the first Halo season was pretty good. I mean,
I
it
think
wasn't.
I don't.
It wasn't
It
like
took me.
it's not a 10 out of 10, but I don't think
No.
it was bad as everybody was shitting on, because there's a whole group of people out there that wanted it like step for step with the game, and that's just not gonna happen. You're
Right.
not.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So if you step for step through the game, you can't do it. I mean, shit, Master Chief barely talks in the game. What are you gonna have, a whole TV show of Master Chief not talking? Like saying like Cortana's like, we got to do this, and Chief's like, on it.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay, all right, that's it. That was our line for the whole episode, 45 minutes, and we got on it.
I think most people's argument was more on the book side of it all, because the book side, of course, has more. But then again, it's the same issue you have when you're translating books and games. The best, like The Last of Us, I think it has to be a show so it can explore more of the storylines.
And like
A movie is too constrained to like an hour and a half to 4 hours, however long a movie wants to be.
So another question. Speaking of, so why do movie video games, some of them, translate into good video games? Why do movies like the Godfather video games are really good? They're nothing like the movie, really. And freaking Scarface was so much fun. You could use a chainsaw and cut people up. He never cuts up anybody with a chainsaw in that movie. A chainsaw is used to cut people up, but he doesn't use it. Plus, you can buy all these cool cars, and you got this big old house, and you take over different parts of Miami. Why do movies work better as video games than video games work as movies?
Because you can add more to the movies to fluff out the game.
We've always wanted to play the movie. We wanted to be in that story.
You play it however you want to play it, not how the movie plays out.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious. Good, that's good. I like that. There you go. Makes sense. I understand. Gotcha.
Anybody have anything else?
I do.
I watched Guy Ritchie's Covenant.
Covenant? Is
Ooh,
that a
that's-
series or a movie?
How is that? I wanted to watch
It's a
it.
movie. Yeah, it was on. Was it Amazon? Right?
Yeah.
I think it was on Amazon. It was good. I thought it was like it's.
Is that with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Ah,
So it was. I think it was written very well. Like they didn't have to. Like you didn't have. They didn't have to say very much, and like the movie score was good. It was really like a different way of like showing. I don't know. Very unique way of showing that type of movie. I think in a way. I like that.
well, Jake Gyllenhaal's good in everything he's in, though, too.
Yeah.
What
But,
was it
like,
about?
So, Jake Gyllenhaal is the master sergeant for the squad, and then he's in charge of the squad that goes out to the towns, and they try to discover a IED factory or something like little bomb factories, like hidden throughout the area. And then like they keep he gets frustrated because all these tips that they're getting that leads him to nowhere, and then he gets this new translator that used to work for the Taliban, but the Taliban killed his family or something, or killed his dad, and so like he's like at the Taliban, um, so he's basically turned against them, and like he has kind of like some inside knowledge of where they work and stuff, and more street smarts than other people. So they end up finding a place, and they kind of get ambushed, and the whole like spoiler alert, but I mean the whole squad ends up dying, I guess. Um, so besides Jake
I
Gyllenhaal and this
guess. Was there a question
translator,
in it?
It's got Homelander
yeah.
in it, too.
Yeah, so besides, I knew I recognized him. I was like, I couldn't put a face to him.
Anthony Starr,
I
yeah.
couldn't.
Homelander.
Yeah. So, Jake Gyllenhaal's character and the translator, they go out on the run, and they have to they basically are trying to walk back to the base, and then they get found. Well, and then Jake Gyllenhaal's character gets injured, and basically he passes out, and like he gets shot a couple of times. I mean, he needs help, but like he can't do shit. So the translator is basically carrying him like any way he can. Like he has this makeshift some type of um, pallet to drag him, and then he ends up getting a truck, and then trading that truck for uh, a cart, a wooden cart. Like they can't take. He has to take all these mountain passes. He can't take the roads, and it's just it's based on a true story and whatnot. I liked it. So this Guy Ritchie, I was wondering like what else he's done. He's done some other noticeable stuff, but I I liked it.
Isn't it? It's based on a true story, right?
Yeah, yeah. At the end, it was showing like pictures of the translator and a guy in the credits.
Okay.
I think the best part I liked about it was like these translators. They're hired by the U.S. Like it starts beginning of it. Like it starts out like, hey, these translators. They're citizens, but they're hired by like the U.S. military. They go through basic just training, I guess. Like they don't do very much, but in return, they offer like visas to go back to the U.S. for their service. And so this translator that helped basically keep him alive, um, they end up like just kind of delaying his visa, and then he and his family have to go on the run and hide out for months on end because they don't have a visa, and like he was basically a traitor, and they like kind of know who he is. So, and then Jake Gyllenhaal's character is back in the U.S., recovered and stuff, and he's like, he can't sleep or anything because he's like feels so guilty of like how the U.S. treated this translator, and so he's like, all right, I gotta go fly back there and help him out. So, I thought it was good.
I keep meaning to watch it. I just don't get around to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was like, I was kind of stuck in like I didn't really feel like watching Halo. I guess at that point I should have, but I was all caught up on True Detective season 4.
Ooh.
Is that any good? Because I
it's-
keep hearing good and bad.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the True Detectives?
See the first one. The first season's really good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this. The
yeah,
second season
that's-
sucks.
That's heralded as like one of the best TV seasons of all time.
That's the one
I
with
agree.
Woody and Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's where you
That's
get
a good-
some
yeah, that
Matthew
was good.
McConaughey memes.
yeah, and this is probably, from what I've heard, this is probably the second best out of all those.
Really?
All the True Detectives. Yeah, it takes place. Of course, it takes place in Alaska. If you've seen any previews during like the 10 Days of Night or something.
Right.
So.
Oh, so is it a 30 Days a Night sequel?
Yeah, there was a
And-
30 days in that.
Great. If you're looking for a good scary movie night, that's your movie.
I haven't really like pinned down the season, like what's really like. I think the season finale's out now, so I need to watch it. But I haven't really like that. But like the context clues I can get from like what's causing this murder or these happenings around whatever they're solving. That's like I don't really know. I guess it is murder. Oh yeah, it is like these group of scientists. They like are found like frozen in the middle of the like lake or something, all naked or something like that. It's weird.
Oh gosh.
I'll
So
have to check it out.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch
so
it.
like yeah, from what I can gather, it's like a little bit like it could be like supernatural-ish. Like it's or
Well,
like
that's kind of how they were playing up the
Yeah.
first season, but it never turned out to
Yeah.
be like supernatural.
yeah. Like of course they have like the Alaskan tribes and stuff, so it's a little bit of like tribal curses or something like that. So
Mhm.
I don't really know. I'll have to watch this. And there's corruption and stuff in the police department, and so that's some of it too. What's
There's
going on?
Corruption in the
So-
police department.
Corruption.
Corruption.
Where's Batman?
Where is he?
Where is she? Where is she?
You know,
I'm not
Percy
wearing
Jackson
hockey
kinda sucked,
pads.
too. Just throwing it out there. Just Percy Jackson wasn't that good
It
Percy
wasn't.
Jackson, what?
overall.
It's not good?
Overall, yeah, that last episode was super rushed. Like they're just like skipping
We
all
done
over
now.
there. Yeah.
I heard it was good, but also I heard it from a caller because he was so excited to watch the next episode.
I guess some parts of it was kind of cool, but it was. I think I like the movie better. than the old movie.
The two, I honestly like both movies. I know
There's
that's kind
two
of
of them?
heresy. Yeah, there's two. The first one's really good. The second one's kind of.
What's the second one called?
Kimberly, what's the second Percy Jackson
I
movie?
thought it was. I thought there was only one.
Oh, there's two. One sec.
Lightning Thief.
No, there's two. There's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief and Sea Monsters. Came out in 2013.
Oh,
It's got a
probably saw
3-star on IMDb, so it wasn't that good. They didn't change many characters. They changed a few, though. But it wasn't the
Okay.
best.
For some reason, I don't remember watching it.
Oh.
Definitely, probably
It's just
only
how good
watched
it was.
once.
That's what I was gonna say. That's just how good it was, I guess. Anybody got anything else? We done?
I got nothing. I mean, I could complain about sports and how we have to have
He can
entertainment
complain.
sporting events now, but I don't want to get into that.
We could sit here and have a 12-hour podcast. Chris would never finish complaining.
Get
The
ready.
only, I got nothing.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching and listening to another episode of Who's Your Nerds podcast. You got the four of us finally. Sorry, my brain is just shut
My
off
brain is
already.
not shut off already.
Shut up, Chris. You can catch us at Pod Nerds on Twitter, Who's Your Nerds on Facebook. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook. Oh my God, on YouTube. You can listen to us at your favorite YouTube, your favorite. Oh my God, your favorite podcasting sites.
What a train wreck.
Shut up. Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, and Amazon. See, perfect ending.
And if you're looking for a professional podcast, look elsewhere because it's not Who's Your Nerd podcast.
Yeah, other podcasts take note and have
Don't be
thoughts.